Yo, what is up everybody? It is your boy Undead Strix here, back at it again with another video. Alright, as y'all can tell, today's video is going to be What If Deku Had Whitebeard's Powers Part 2. The first part came out yesterday and released for this week and maybe the first month of this channel being active. I will post every day just so I can get some good amount of content out there so y'all have some content to watch. So hope that y'all enjoyed that and hope that y'all enjoyed this video, and leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out the link in the description to check out my other channels. I have the link to my actual channel that I want y'all to go check out, which is called Reviews, where I do mostly One Piece content, whether it be like chapter reviews or just One Piece discussions in period, or whatever kind of discussions that I feel like. But y'all can go check that channel out if y'all feel like it. But besides all of that, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video, and with all of that said and done, let's get into the video. So where we left off the last part was Deku had easily gotten into UA. Nezu had already offered him a technical free pass in without even taking the entrance exam, or even actually taking the other way in, because he understood the potential that Deku had. So he actually just knew, like, let's actually utilize it. Take care of this, because if he became a villain, it would be detrimental to the hero society. So he already gave him a free pass, but Deku still wanted to take the normal way and take the entrance exam, which he completely dominated and showed everyone that he was a force to be reckoned with. And after that, everyone saw what this kid could do using the abilities that he has. He has amazing strength. He's extremely tall, extremely charismatic, and I'm actually going to start giving him hints of the actual white stash. I'm just going to say it's just white because it's white. Why not? But I'm just going to give him start relinquing of that, so he's actually going to start looking like Whitebeard. He's not Whitebeard's reincarnation or anything, but I think it's just a little cool. And then yeah, so for the most part, he's just completely chilling around, and he already knows that he got into UA. As about a week or two later, he would head to UA for the first day of school. He would get there and he would just be the first one there because he doesn't like being late. He prefers to be on time. So he would sit down. Aizawa would already be there, and Aizawa sees that this kid is already here, the first person in class, and they talk for a little while because they got there extremely early. So they just talk for a while, really just get to know each other, because Aizawa was really actually interested in this kid specifically because this kid has showed a great amount of power, a great amount of actual force, because all of the things that he was doing at the actual entrance exam. So he knew that this kid was extremely strong, period, and after seeing the grades that he got on the written part of the hero exam, he knew that this kid was also extremely intelligent, and that's a very good mix. So as always, just really interested in this kid, interested in what he was planning on doing and exactly why he chose to be in the hero career. Eventually, Aizawa would still get tired and go into his sleeping bag and just completely lay down, and Deku would go into the back of the class and just completely knock out too. Eventually, people would start coming in and start going inside of the class for the most part, not really bothering with anything or really checking on these two, because no one even notices as I was there, and everyone just sees this big brute in the back of the classroom just completely knocked out, and they don't really want to bother him because he is extremely so powerful. Then they all saw exactly how strong he was. Todoroki would have even heard the news about how strong this kid was during the entrance exam. There were videos. They weren't supposed to be taking videos, but there were actual videos online about this kid's extreme power during the entrance exam, and so many people have already heard of this kid's name, and they're just completely astonished about this kid in the first place, and really just having so much fun about looking at this kid. As eventually Bakugo gets in the class, not too far late or even too far early. He's just around the middle of the class, and he would see Deku knocked out, and he just starts laughing, and he's like, this kid of course got here that early, of course he's already knocked out. As everyone's just like, you know him? And Bakugo's just, yeah, we go back a long time, he's a friend of mine. As everyone's just so just goes straight to Bakugo, asking what's he's like and everything like that. And eventually he's getting annoyed, and he's just acting the exact same Bakugo, because he's the same person, just more close with Deku. So they really just don't really care too much, and they really just just keep talking to him, and eventually Bakugo just says, all right, you want to be nerds and want to be extras, I'm done answering all your questions. If y'all want questions, ask him yourself. As eventually Uraraka would come in, and Aizawa would be awake at this point, and he would see that Deku's still asleep, and he really wouldn't mind it because he understands that this kid is smart enough to not to know at least what's going to happen, and he's not too worried about this kid. As Uraraka sees Deku in the back, still asleep, as she still decides to go into the back of the room and wake him up, and Deku's just like, wait, what's going on? As everyone's just looking back at Deku, and Uraraka is just like, I'm sorry for waking you up, but I just wanted to say, thank you for saving me during the entrance exam. And Deku's just like, do I know you? As Uraraka's like, yeah, you saved me from the 0 point. And Deku's just like, oh yeah. Just one question, what's your quirk? As she would just say, it's called zero gravity. As Deku's just like, I'm not sure if I heard that right, because I saved you because I thought that you weren't able to save yourself. But I need you to explain to me what your quirk is again and the actual abilities that you can do. As she says, okay, I don't know why. As I was always just listening to this, and she's just wondering where this is going, and she just says, oh yeah, my quirk is called zero gravity. I have the ability to touch things with all 5 of my fingers and technically give them zero gravity. As Deku's just like, okay, I got a question for you. What was it again, Uraraka? If you have this quirk, why did you not decide to just use this quirk on the row that was on top of you and just, I don't know, crawl away and then release it? As she's just like just completely dumbfounded, and everyone's just like in the room just like completely just shook about what he just said, and Bakugo's just like, bruh, we've told you so many times you don't have to be that brutally honest. As Deku's just like, oh hey Bakugo, I didn't see you there. As Bakugo's just like, damn nerd. As everyone's just like, y'all two must be good friends. As Bakugo's just like, yeah, but he pisses me off so much. As eventually Zazawa was just like, all right, everybody, calm down. And everyone, like Deku's just like, all right, and just automatically quiets down because he at least has talked to Aizawa a little bit enough that he actually respects him to at least a little point. As Aizawa just says, all right, everybody, today we're going to be doing a quirk examination, or at least quirk test. As he just says, everybody go down to the locker rooms, get changed, and go outside. As Deku, without even a little bit of hesitation, just automatically goes outside and just starts, well, at least goes out the room and starts walking down to the actual locker rooms, and Bakugo follows suit, and everyone else is still in the classroom just going around going like, what about orientation, what about everything like that, what about this, that, and the third. And eventually, as I was just like, why can't you just be like this, like those two? Midoriya heard what I said without even saying anything, discussing it, just went to do what I told him to do and didn't even question it. As everyone's just like, yeah, we're not him. As always, just like, obviously. As eventually they would all decide to go, and eventually most of the guys would get in while Midoriya is just taking off like his shirt. As they all see how, like, they actually all truly see how big he is, because all of them are mostly the same exact height, so he's just like towering over a majority of all of them, and they're just like, bro, what do you eat to make you so tall? As Deku's just like, I don't know, it's just like this. As Bakugo's just like, he grew a bit during the 10 months. As everyone's just like, well, how much did he grow? And he was like, he was around like 6'3" before the 10 months, and he's around like 6'7" right now. So he grew like 4 inches during 10 months, and everyone's just like, golly, like how? As they're just like, Bakugo's just like, I don't know, no, I don't understand his genetics, but everyone's just like looking at his body, and he's ripped. Like, he's big, so he actually still has a good, decent body, but he's still extremely, like, has, like, abs, complete big muscles, like, so he looks big. For, like, being 6'7", he's also, like, around, like, 230 pounds or whatever. So he has a nice, ginormous, like, actual shape. It looks like an actual lean-out shape. And almost a perfectly chiseled body in kind of sense. Just think of Whitebeard's body. he has almost that exact body with an actual tattoo. When everyone sees that, and even Bakugo didn't even know that he had that, and he just looks at Deku and just says, "Yo, Midoriya, when'd you get that tattoo? And how'd you get that tattoo?" Because he has the Whitebeards tattoo. It's just gonna be a design that he just drew one day and wanted. So I'm gonna make him almost look like Whitebeard, but he's not gonna be the reincarnation. Cause I hate myself. So he just says, "Oh yeah, I got this around like about 2-3 weeks before the entrance exam." I asked my mom, and she said that since I was getting into the hero cores at UA, completely paid for it, and at least completely get with like no paying for anything, and completely fine, because Nezu said that was at least the most that he could offer. He was just like, they were just like, she said I could just start spending my money how I wanted to, and I had a job for most of the 10 months, and everyone's just like, okay, wow. Like, he's mature too, and everyone's just like listening into this, as eventually they would head outside, and all the girls just see him in his actual gym uniform, and they're all just like, my god, he is built. They're just so confused because he looks so big, and everyone's just looking up to him, and everyone's just as I was just like, all right, Midoriya, since you got the highest score during the entrance exam, you get to go first. Throw this without using a quirk. As he clocks back and throws it as hard as he can without using his quirk and just using his normal strength, and it still goes over 600 meters. And as I was just like, kid, that was without using a quirk? And Deku was just like, oh yeah. As I was just like, my god, I don't even think that was possible. As everyone's just looking at this in completely the most dumbfounded look possible. They're just looking, and they're all just like, how is that even possible? This kid just threw a ball 600 meters without a quirk. As I'll gives him another ball and just says, all right, throw this one full strength as hard as you can. And Deku's just like, did you just say full strength? I don't think you quite understand exactly what that means and what that entails. As I was just like, just do it, kid. As Deku's just like, all right, but fair warning, tell everybody to take at least 10-15 steps back. As I was just like, you heard the kid, step back now. As everyone's just like, why would we need to step back? He's only gonna throw a ball. As I would just say, you heard him. Do you really want to question why you should step back, or do you want to do what he says, step back and not get injured? As they're just like, all right. As eventually he would be holding the ball, and he would start powering One for All inside of his entire body. Instead of looking at lightning, it's looking more like just cracks coming around on his body. Just different cracks, completely white cracks just happening around his body. The same cracks that it would usually be when he's cracking into the air. And Bakugo's saying this is a complete something new that he's never seen. As eventually it spreads around through his entire body and gets straight to his arm. As it looks like what One for All looked like at the beginning, but instead of being that purplish color, it's just completely white. As he would be grabbing this, as he would completely clock back, and as soon as his arm would get that full extension to about to throw, everyone would just see a big crack inside of the air, as he created an earthquake, or at least a miniature earthquake, right at that point of impact, exactly in the air where the ball was heading, where the ball was going. And he's been able to control making the quakes to the point that he doesn't even have to punch anything. He could just see where he wants the quake to be, and he can have it be right there. So as long as it's in his line of sight, he can make that quake happen there. As everyone just sees that this ball skyrockets so far away that they can't even see it. It just completely goes into oblivion. And as I was looking at the scanner, looking at the meter and just seeing how far it's going, 600 meters, 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters, 5,000 meters, 10, 20, 30. And he's just going, this ball has gotten out of the atmosphere and is just going and gone. Eventually just completely almost getting so far that he can't even tell the actual length that it's at. So it just says error, error, unnoticeable, undetectable, as the ball was just going so fast and cracking so many times that it just almost disintegrated as soon as it left the atmosphere, and it just kept going inside of the space and still kept going at a constant velocity, as they were just like, what just happened? Because like they felt the boom around him, like in that 10 to 15 meters that he said, they could just see cracks forming around him on the earth. And they were all completely like, now I understand why he said move back. And they are glad that they did. As everyone sees this, and as I was just like dumbfounded, everyone else completely shook about what they just saw. As eventually everyone keeps going and no one really knows how to classify his score. They know that it's above almost everyone else, but when it comes to Uraraka and her getting infinity, they don't know whether his score tops that or it doesn't. They just say it does because by this point is, yeah, hers says infinity, but his literally went into the atmosphere, out of the atmosphere too, so it was in space and it was still going, and it just kind of never stopped. It just exploded by the actual sheer force of his throw. So they didn't know how to quantify it. They just said it quite almost inconclusive. They knew it was extremely high just because of the point that it stopped out, but they just didn't really know how to classify it or quantify it. And for all the other events, he would dominate first place in every single event, as like a Mineta would still get completely bottom place and would get Aizawa just saying, all right kid, sorry, but you gotta go, as Mineta gets kicked out of UA. Deku's not that same like completely kind-hearted guy that just says, oh, no, I'm sorry, like it's not fair, and it's completely saves Mineta this time. He's still like obviously kind-hearted. He's still like the same kid, but like he has a quirk and he actually understands like usefulness. He understands Magneto's quirk but can be useful, but like the also qualities of a hero. Mineta just doesn't have those actual qualities. His personality is the main thing holding him back. As now that they have the spot empty in Class 1A, they decide to bring someone in. This someone being Shinzo, someone that applied for the hero course but didn't get in. As him getting in was honestly like Midoriya's actual idea. They like had heard that Aizawa had let someone go, and now that the class being one person short, they were just thinking about adding someone in, and Midoriya just came into Nezu's office because Nezu wanted to talk to him about just something else, and actually hearing about the scores that he performed on that exam that Aizawa did. As Deku's just like talking to Nezu about like all of this and talking to All Might at the same time, and they're just like, okay, since Mineta's gone, we're thinking about adding someone else to the class, and they're just like, do you have any suggestions on anyone that you think didn't get into UA? Or they're just asking his opinion for the most part because they actually trust him. He's come around UA quite a bit, that not all the teachers know him, but Nezu and All Might have gotten to know him personally, so they trust his opinion. As Deku just like asks, is there anyone at UA currently that wanted to be in the hero program? As they go through a big list of other people, and Deku eventually comes across Shinzo's name. Figuring out this name and hearing that he wanted to join the hero course, but they didn't really think that his quirk was adequate for the hero course, and Deku hearing this actual quirk, and he just says, choose him, and Nezu's just like, why him? And Deku's just like, well, let's just say, give him to Aizawa for a good reason. Tell Aizawa to train this kid. If they can get to work together, I see very good potential with this kid's quirk and learning some fighting style and maybe even the rags from Aizawa. That would be an amazing combo. As them hearing this is actually taking his advice quite serious and everything like that. So they just choose, why not? Let's take this kid's advice seriously and actively do what he asks. As eventually, the next day, Shinzo would be brought into 1A, and we would get about a few days later, and we would get All Might popping into the class just saying, I am here. And everyone's just like, oh my god, it's All Might, it's All Might, it's All Might. And Deku's just like, yo, what up, All Might? And All Might's just like, hey, Midoriya. As everyone's just like looking back at Midoriya, and they're just like, you know All Might? And Deku's just like, yeah, I came to UA a lot during the 10 months. They kept trying to like just ask me to come in automatically and train with them and help all of the other upperclassmen, and All Might was kind of helping me train a little bit during the summer, because like he's not hiding anything from them. He doesn't see the point of lying. He's just not going to mention One for All, but he doesn't see the point of hiding the fact that he was at UA quite a few times during the actual 10-month period. And they're just like, how's that fair? As All Might's just like, today we're going to be doing a hero versus villain, but we're going to be doing it in a completely different way. Y'all all know how strong Mr. Midoriya is here, as I just want to see exactly what would happen if we put all of you against him. Him being the hero, and you all being the villains. As they're just like, what? And Deku's just like, oh my, what are you doing? I don't feel like dealing with this. As he's just like, come on, Midoriya, this might be fun for them. And Deku's just like, you really think it's gonna be fun for them to get completely wiped by one guy? And everyone just turns back at looking at him, and Bakugo and Todoroki and Ida specifically are just looking back at him with like the biggest glare. Bakugo's just like looking like that with an annoyed face, but also holding in the biggest laugh ever because he knows that's actually possible. Todoroki just looking at this kid thinking like, what kind of monster is he? Because he can't say like this kid's like the son of All Might, because like they have nowhere near the same quirks, but he is still so extremely strong, which is crazy. As All Might's just like, nah, this could be fun. And it gives you like the kind of a little handicap, because you have to stay in one place and protect the bomb while everyone else is coming from at you for all different directions. As Deku's like, that's not going to be a problem at all, so I don't really see what the real point of this is. As All Might's just like, come on, Midoriya, just like come like and stick with it. As Deku's just like, all right. As eventually they would all head out, and they would find like this big field, at least testing grounded. Deku would be put next to the bomb, but before that they would all put on their hero costumes, what they had all designed for the most part. And like Deku doesn't even have anywhere near the same hero costume. It's not like that little rabbit thing. His instead is almost exactly what Whitebeard wears. It's, for the most part, it's just a big cloak with like a little like actual tie, not like a tie, but like a little thing that can hold for a holder. And he's not even wearing a shirt at all, so all the girls are just seeing his actual muscles from the front. He has like a technical like little bandana that Whitebeard has, and just looking like a little do-rag-ish. And for the most part, like he's just this point, like that little like white like mustache is growing in, and they're like, he's just actually looking more and more like Whitebeard. But for the most part, he still like has Midoriya's characteristics. He looks exactly like Midoriya, just with like all of the modifications that I've already said previously in the video. So he's coming in, and everyone sees his hero suit, and everyone's just like, bro, what is this guy? He looks like a monster. As Deku's just like, if y'all wondering what my hero name is going to be, because I'm just going to tell y'all now, since I'm not planning on switching it. Everybody just call me. And for this, I'm actually going to let y'all choose the name of what his hero name is going to be. I could just go with the Quake hero Whitebeard, or I could just go with simply Quake, or something along those natures. But if y'all have any other names that y'all would like to use, put them down in the comments. If y'all want to choose one of those two, put it down, and I will happily actually, like, just choose one of those that y'all put down in the actual comment section down below. And eventually, like, they would all start getting ready. They would all start getting ready to do this, and Deku just staying in one place next to the bomb. Everybody else would, because, like, I'm just gonna say it this way, actually, because since he's a hero, he would be trying to find the bomb, but I'm actually gonna switch it. Deku's the villain, everybody else are the heroes, because that's the way that I was trying to say it, but I didn't word it correctly. So Deku's the villain and everybody else is coming for him. It first starts off with all of the other smaller characters that are just getting completely one shot, and everyone's just trying to come at him from all different directions, coming in, Todoroki coming in and everything like that. But instead of anything like that, he's not even standing next to the actual bomb. He did something that he learned after he started using One for All later more and more. He can make quake zones. This being, like, he put 4 quake zones, like, on each side of the actual bomb. And the closer that you get to those quake zones, the more that the earth starts to shake, and as soon as you touch it, it kind of just repels you, like giving you a full quake, and feeling it into your entire body, starting to shake you and pushing you straight back. As that's almost a perfect defense zone, because anything inside that quake zone isn't getting touched, almost completely fine. And he's making sure that it's not enough to completely damage the interior or of the actual building, so it doesn't collapse. But everyone else is trying to go for him, like Bakugo specifically trying to go after his head. Todoroki doing the exact same thing. Most of the guys are trying to go straight for his head, and it's not working for them at all. As eventually he almost deals with them all in the entire class, like almost completely easily. He's not even having any sweat at the entire moment. He's just having some fun laughing at everyone, just like, did we really just get sideswiped by one student? And Deku's just like, as I told you this would happen, y'all lost. So at least now y'all know your place. And Bakugo's just like, you damn cocky bastard. I know you're strong, but this is just disappointing. Like, he's just like disappointed himself, but they had a full like group of 23 against 1. Shinzo trying to go against him, but he didn't say a word until he won. He like completely went after Shinzo, saying like, glad you got into class, but don't worry about this, like, because like Shinzo tried to go after him, but as soon as like he even said a word to Shinzo, he knew what he did on purpose. Shinzo tried to trap him. Deku just said, yeah, that's your quirk. It's not going to work on me. That is not going to affect me in the slightest. I have a stronger will than you do, so you trying to control me with your own quirk, and highly doubt that would be effective enough as it is, so don't ever bother try that. As everyone in the class is just completely almost knocked out after this, and eventually they would all wake up asking what happened, and Deku would just be right there, just sitting down, almost literally like laying down, about to fall asleep, and he's just like, y'all lost, I won, class dismissed, go home, sorry losers. As Bakugo just looks at this kid and just says, Midoriya, you piece of shit. And like it just completely starts going off on Deku and everything like that, and Deku just starts laughing. As everyone's just like, these two are obviously friends. My god, it's annoying. As he's just like, okay, don't worry. It's fine, I'm sorry, but I told you that that's what happened. As eventually they would go home that day, but this is where I'm going to be leaving the what if off. If y'all did enjoy this part, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if y'all are new, and check out the first part of this video if y'all hadn't already, but it's too late for that. But just subscribe to the channel so y'all don't miss any of my other videos, so plus that notification bell too. But with all that said, see y'all in the next video. Peace.